So, welcome to the third conversation in this series, and this afternoon I'm joined by CEO and co-founder of OneFile, Susanna Lawson. So, thank you very much for meeting with me today, Susanna. I'm really excited.
You're very welcome, Georgia. It's a pleasure to be chatting to you. Thank you for asking me.
So, I've been told that you started OneFile in your bedroom 16 years ago, which is a really, really fascinating story. I'm so excited to hear about it. So when you started your company, what were your expectations in terms of what it would look like in today's world?
Oh, goodness, now there's a question. I think, because I started it with my partner, now husband, and it was kind of like a matching of skills, because I had the apprenticeship background, because I was an apprenticeship assessor and manager of apprentices in nursing homes and health and social care, and my partner was the techie, so he did all the dev work, but I had the know-how of how the product needed to work. And I think, to be honest, I think we were a little bit naive at the beginning. I think we just thought, oh yeah, we could probably give this a good go. We can come up with a great solution. We didn't really have a go-to-market plan at the time as we started building it. And obviously, the world has changed so much. When we started, there wasn't iPads, there wasn't smartphones, there wasn't Wi-Fi like there is now. So it was really, we were convinced that this time next year, everyone's going to be on an e-portfolio, but why wouldn't they? But there was a lot of people, I mean, as there are still now, but even more so, like probably 50-60% of students didn't have access to the internet in their home at that point. So there was a lot of sort of objections about, tech and the students having access to that. But for the business itself, yeah, obviously we dreamt that it would be a huge success, but never really sort of sat down and sort of thought about what that might look like and what that might mean. And we've got a team of about 80 now, based mainly from Manchester, but all around the country. And yeah, we never really sat down and thought what that would mean. I mean, right at the beginning, we were all working ridiculous hours, sort of 90 hours a week each. If we were awake, we were literally working. And I overheard a young lady before the lockdown. I was on the tram going into the office, and I overheard her say to her friend, "Oh, I'm sick of working. I want to start my own business because I'm so tired of working." And I just thought, "Oh my goodness, you have got no idea what it means to run your own business." Because although, the tasks that I do on a day-to-day have changed, the work is still huge. It's just the pressures are different. I've now got 80 people that I feel responsibility for. I mean, the business, obviously, I want it to be a success, but I also have 80 people there with their mortgages and their families that I feel a responsibility for. When we started in our back bedroom, it was just us. So, that it's a completely different from what I expected it to be. And I think like I say, I was probably a little bit naive when we set off, and we probably didn't think it through, but I'm so glad we did, because it's been an amazing journey.
That's so exciting to hear that journey, which like you said, started in your bedroom into what it is now. You must be really proud.
Oh, incredibly proud, yeah. And sometimes it's really important to sit back and reflect on what's actually happened and what has been achieved. And just yesterday, I did a company-wide cascade, because this week, for many companies, obviously around the country, it had been a whole year since we'd closed the office. And I cried on the company-wide cascade. I'd written it, and I got upset writing it when I reflected on how much we've achieved, but then almost as well as how much we've lost this year. So we've quite a lot of our team have lost family and friends through COVID and other illnesses during this time. We've lost a really close team member who passed away after a year's illness whilst we were off, and there's a lot of loss during this year. So it was a time to reflect yesterday when I gave the cascade to everybody, and I got upset doing it. But it was almost through pride as well, because we have achieved so much, and trying to tell everybody how proud I was of what they've done and what we've done. Just got very emotional, actually. But it has been yeah. When you look back and see what we've done, yeah, we've done really, really well. I couldn't be prouder.
You can see how much it means to you, which is amazing. So Exeter College gets a real sense of partnership when working with OneFile. So can you talk to me about the values of your business and how it supports apprentices?
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely love working with Exeter College. as you know, you don't need to be told, your team there are just fabulous. We love them. It was really, really important to me as we were building OneFile that we weren't just a tech supplier. We're not just a software supplier to our customers. We really wanted to have a close partnership with the people that we work with. It wasn't just about supplying the software. It was about, like you said, partnership, about collaboration with them. Our values at OneFile are integrity, respect, courage, creativity, and compassion. And they are the foundation of everything we do. They are our guardrails at OneFile. That's how we treat each other within the organisation. It's how we treat our customers, and it's how we treat the community as well. So they give us our boundaries of how we can behave. So we really want to work with apprenticeship providers, but we want to do that with integrity. We need to do that with respect and compassion and understanding. So, for everybody within OneFile, and we interview on those values as well, it's essential that everybody understands those, and they are their values as well. That's not just the company values, it's all the team's values as well. So, we talk about the values a lot. They'll say that, we talk about them all the time, but it is incredibly important. And again, we want to have that relationship with our customers. So again, we love to work with customers that have similar values, and we do definitely see that at Exeter College.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said earlier, things have changed quite a lot since you started this company, and especially apprenticeships have gone through quite a big change in the last 3 to 4 years. So what do you believe are the benefits of these changes for apprentices? And are there any changes that you think don't quite hit the mark?
I think I'm a little bit controversial. I actually really like the 20% off the job, which has come in over the last few years. So the 20% off the job obviously means that during work time, the apprentice has 20% of their time. So whether that be a day a week or however that equates, because you could front load it or end load it, to concentrate on their studies when they're not actually being productive for the company. And as a employer of apprentices, I love it but actually with the caveat that as long as when they come back and they've had that day away from the business, they have learned something, whether that be another skill or another knowledge or improve their behaviours, whatever that might be. If they come back and they say, I was just sat in a classroom and I was just on my phone all day and everyone else wasn't, it was really boring, then I'm not happy at all. But if they're going to be, better for it, then I am 100% behind that. And I know that speaking to apprentices, they feel better value doing their apprenticeship because their employer gives them that time. It's not just in their own time at the weekends and the evenings. And yes, they should commit some of their own time as well, because it is a collaboration and it's a partnership. But to be told you have the equivalent of 20% of your time on your own studies to better yourself, I think it's really empowering in learning and development, definitely. The other thing that I really like with the reforms is, again, probably quite controversial, is the endpoint assessment. Again, talking to apprentices, I think they really value that, almost like that, what's the word I'm looking for? The sign off, that somebody has said, yes, you have passed this, you have gone this far, and then you demonstrated to me that you are this competent in this job role and this apprenticeship that you're doing. Whereas before, in the old way of doing it, it was very much tick box exercise, and on the last day you tick the last box and you went, well done, you finished, you passed. Whereas this now feels like there is a process, and you go through the process, and at the end of it there is a formal assessment of your skills, your knowledge and your behaviours, and then somebody else who's independent to you tells you, yes, you passed. Very similar to like a driving test. So a little bit controversial, I think, because I think a lot of people aren't really keen on off the job, and some people aren't so happy with the endpoint assessment. But they're two areas that I do think have been improvements. I think areas where it hasn't quite hit the mark, the apprenticeship levy probably isn't quite flexible enough for employers for different types of learning that they might want and training they might want to take place. I do like the fact it is sort of ring fenced for apprenticeships, but there are other vocational areas it could be used for. And I think especially after the year we've had, the 2 year they must use that levy within 2 years. I think there could be an extension on that, especially after the year that we've just had, because obviously a lot of employers, especially in hospitality, retail, have had to furlough people, for example, and wouldn't have had the starts. So if there could be an extension of 3 or 4 years, especially it maybe, you know, in this circumstance, a mitigating circumstance, that would be good. But no, I mean, apprenticeships are just fabulous, aren't they? So
Yeah, they are. Yes, they definitely are. Yeah. So I saw on your Twitter feed that you were awarded the Gold Investor in People Award. So first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really exciting. What tips would you give to employers on how to support apprentices?
So I think my biggest tip for employers is you really need to recruit your apprentice like you would anybody else in your organisation. They are there for a minimum of a year, depending which apprenticeship they're doing, and hope, you know, the idea is they will become well, they are a member of your team, and they will remain a member of your team well beyond their apprenticeship. So it's not just a temporary person in your organisation. You need to be employing them like you would anybody else. So, for example, we talked about values earlier. We recruit on technical skills, which again, the apprentice might not have at the moment, but then we also recruit and interview on values. So we would have a big emphasis on the values. We'll train you in the technical skills if you're an apprentice, but the values, you could not join OneFile, for example, if you didn't have the same values and you weren't going to live and breathe our values. So that is it. Just, you know, recruit them and then treat them like you would do any other employee, and give them as many opportunities. Their apprenticeship might be in business administration, or it might be in sales, but give them as many experiences as you can in the organisation to see other job roles and understand how their role fits in with everybody else.
I can definitely testify for that as well, because even with the lockdown, the experience from other people and seeing what other people do has really helped my progression as well. So it is very, very valuable. Yeah.
I think so. And I think when everybody understands how their job helps everybody else's job as well,
Yeah.
you know, your role is so important, George. So, you know, in events, it impacts so many different areas of the college.
Yeah.
But understanding what those different areas of the college are and how that impacts them will have a greater effect on you and the way that you've been able to do your role. Absolutely.
It's definitely seeing where you fit in the puzzle and the bigger picture, isn't it? And it's nice for the individual as well to know that.
Yeah.
So lastly, what are your hopes for the future of apprenticeships in England?
So my hopes for apprenticeships in England is really increased parity. So, you know, so many schools and parents at the moment don't see apprenticeships as a viable option once people leave school. It's very much pushed towards A-levels and then potentially university. Whereas my son is going to high school next year, and I follow them on social media to check out what they're doing. And I love the fact they celebrated National Apprenticeship Week. They're always they talk about, oh, we've got this person coming in, they've done an apprenticeship, they're going to be talking to the students. And I love that. And you do not see that in many high schools at all, the vocational route. Obviously, with degree level apprenticeships, that is raising the awareness with parents, especially. But, you know, I get a lot of my friends now where their kids are 17, they come to me and say, what kind of apprenticeships could they do? You know, let's look at another way, not just university. I'm not saying that, you know, university is fantastic as well, but just so they've got the option. So they just want to be able to sit down with their kids and go, well, these are the different options, because they're saying that the schools don't provide them with those options. So that would be my absolute dream for apprenticeships, that, you know, it is given on a like for like basis with further education and university.
Amazing. So thank you so much for this conversation. It's been lovely speaking to you, and it's been really valuable for me to hear this from a user of OneFile myself, as being a college student as well. So thank you very, very much.
You're very welcome, Georgia. Thanks for inviting me along.
Thank you. So join me next time when I'll be interviewing Amy Kime from Devon County Council.